Hey, how's it going, captains? Admiral Tori here, and welcome aboard for another World of Warships video on my channel. In today's video, I am sailing the Tier 7 premium German battleship, the Scharnhorst. In my opinion, I think the Scharnhorst is the best premium battleship to buy from the shop. And the 5 reasons why I really like about the Scharnhorst is: number 1, she sits at a comfortable tier. She is tier 7. She sits between tier 5 and tier 9 matchmaking. Of course, you want to be the top tier and dominate over the lower tier, but sometimes you do get the high tier matchmaking. But overall, if you look at something like the tier 8 battleships, you will get those high tier matchmaking constantly. You face tier 10s where people are salty, they get personal, they complain this and that, and people playing very passive and very greedy. When you can play something like the Scharnhorst, where you get games at the higher tiers and games at the low tiers where people don't give a shit because they just want to grind the ship out of the way and get to the high tiers, and then they start to give a shit because they're stuck in a high tier grind for quite some time before they get their tier 9 or tier 10 ship that they wanted. Number 2, the Scharnhorst, excluding the Gneisenau, compared to her competitors, the Scharnhorst has superior armor. She can definitely deflect those 406 and 410mm shells, while the Nagato and Colorado, when they fire at each other, which I learned during the tier 7 ranks because I played enough of Nagato and Colorado, that when you're angling with the Colorado and Nagato, that 25mm of deck armor or bow armor you can still penetrate with those 406 or 410mm guns, while the Scharnhorst just deflects them or just ricochet those shells. But the Scharnhorst does have less health than the Nagato. Not sure about the Colorado. So yes, she does have superior armor. To go along with the armor is that she does have the German turtleback design, which means that at close range, the Scharnhorst cannot be citadel, she can't be one-shotted, and overall is very solid. Number 3, she is the fastest battleship at tier 7, and you can argue with me with the Gneisenau, but Gneisenau, for whatever logical reason, Gneisenau is slightly faster than the Scharnhorst, but in general, Scharnhorst and Gneisenau are very fast, and speed is crucial to me. And in most cases, when you're looking at the earlier tier battleships, you trade speed for armor, or you trade armor for speed. Those are the 2 things that you have to trade. Gneisenau and Scharnhorst doesn't do that. They get both of it because they are modern battleship, while the Nagato and Colorado are pre-World War II battleship, or at least very old battleship compared to the Scharnhorst class battleship. Number 4, she comes equipped with torpedoes and very nice secondaries. Torpedoes is very situational, but when you get into a situation like facing a North Carolina, if you're in a Nagato or Colorado, you just, trying to steam your way to close the distance against the North Carolina. North Carolina's just gonna, wither you down with her big guns, and once you're at close range, whoever pulls the trigger first wins the game. Scharnhorst has secondaries, and she has armor, so she can angle and set you on fire. At the same time, she has torpedoes at her disposal if she really needs to use it to, chump down your health. Yes, there's only 3 torpedoes, but they're still torpedoes. So that is one great thing about the Scharnhorst. Number 5 is a double-edged sword. The Scharnhorst, you either like it or you don't like it, which determines the person who likes the Scharnhorst or not, is her 283mm guns. These guns cannot really penetrate at all at a far distance, and if you angle slightly with a cruiser, these guns are useless because you're just going to ricochet the shells. But the reason I really like these guns is because you're playing a battleship and you get the opportunity to do some DPS. They're fun to use. I just enjoy shooting these guns, although they don't pack as big as a punch compared to the Nagato or Colorado. So that is why I really like about the Scharnhorst. Now in this game, I'm playing on hotspot, and I don't know why, but this Ganevny just completely ignores me. He really wants to kill the carrier. So I like this game because it's one of those weird moments where things are just happening around me, okay? My friendly Kaga calls for help, and in most cases, people don't care about carriers. Like, they just don't care if the carriers get destroyed. The only thing that they care about is if they lose the game, they're going to blame the carrier. So when you're coming perspective from me, of course I play enough carriers. I get in a situation where I ask for help but people don't care, and it frustrates me, but in this case I am willing to put my ship at risk just to save this carrier. Now I was zigzagging against the Gnevny, but for some reason Gnevny just went full on YOLO and decided to just focus the Kaga. Now I knew I was gonna get myself into a risky situation. I could have just used the basic way of just leaving the carrier being harassed by the destroyer and don't risk my ship, but since I feel like being heroic and I have some sympathy for people who play carriers, I did the right thing in my opinion, and that was to save the carrier. Now even if I put myself at risk against the Gnevny, the only other target that I was expecting was the Fuso that I was firing earlier. I did not expect the Bayern. Not only that, the Ranger is coming in with her torpedo bombers to strike me. So now I just realized that I basically saved the carrier, but now I'm in a very crappy situation because I am forced to face 2 battleships even though I was supposed to face just the Fuso, which I'm pretty confident in defeating. And the Ranger is going to logically pick the lonely target, and who would have guessed, a lonely Scharnhorst on the other side of the map. If you look on the map, my team and the enemy team is just having a full-on battle on that side of the map, while I am on this side who just saved the carrier but now going to pay for it. So yeah, I am going to take a lot of damage. I turn hard to the port side in order to make the planes circle around me as long as possible so my AA can shoot down some planes, and I cut the speed drastically in order to juke the torpedoes and only took 2 to the belt, which is very important because if you don't take torpedoes to the belt, you're going to take more damage. At the same time, you're going to have a flood. So I am pretty desperate. I was able to actually score 2 torpedo hits on the Bayern. Now when Karma comes in, because I saved the carrier, the Sims is going to be the hero of this game and decides to save me, which is very rare when it comes to playing World of Warships. This is why I really like this game, because number 1, I saved the carrier. Now it's my turn to be saved by the Sims. So the Bayern got taken out by the Sims fire, and I'm going to fire torpedoes against the Fuso. Unfortunately, these torpedoes are going to miss because the Sims fired torpedoes earlier and they hit the Fuso. Now Fuso is panicking and she's going to do a radical turn to the port. Luckily, I have my Bismarck captain on my Scharnhorst and my secondaries are going off. Now I was hoping that after I saved the Kaga, before the Sims came, I asked for supporting fire from the Kaga, and I was hoping that the Kaga would delete the Bayern so I can just deal with the Fuso. Looks like the Kaga has her own agenda, which is alright because sometimes people don't see the messages in the chat. So we're just pounding this Fuso, and I was able to set, I think, 2 fires. I'm about to set 3 fires and get Arsonist with this secondary build. Looks like the Fuso is screwed. The Bayern and Fuso played very poorly on this part. They should have killed me, but looks like the Bayern took my torpedoes and the Fuso took the Sims torpedo, and I was able to take out the Fuso with my secondaries. This is where the Scharnhorst really shines. It's all about close range because her guns are a double-edged sword. And like I said, it really depends on who you ask, because some people just don't want to close the distance, don't want to be aggressive with the Scharnhorst. They're not going to like the ship because the guns are not going to work with you. If you close the distance, utilize the speed, utilize the armor and the torpedoes with her secondaries and your rapid firing guns, the Scharnhorst is a very strong tier 7 competitor compared to the Gneisenau at the same time. I just, whether I get like low damage with these guns, I just enjoy firing these guns. And these guns were mainly designed to take out cruisers, so you want to fire at cruisers more often compared to battleship if you have AP loaded. Sometimes at a distance, I just use HE in hopes of trying to hit the superstructure and start a fire rather than using AP. There'll be instances where AP would do more damage at a far distance when a target goes broadside, but I just, it's just inconsistent. Sometimes I get like 10k salvos, I get real lucky with them, then I get 1-2k, 1-2k, and then the angle when I could be using HE, I don't know, it just breaks upon impact or it just ricochet. So the enemy ranger is going to go for another strike and he's going to try to finish me off. I have the manual AA selected. I don't have the skill, but I'm selecting the planes with the skill, wherever, I don't know what the little click thing, and the Ranger drops, and I start to turn to starboard. You want to turn toward the torpedo wave and take what you need. This is something that a lot of Battleship players don't realize because most likely they have never played carriers. They panic, they think intuitively that you're supposed to turn away because you're flinching against the torpedoes, right? You flinch against somebody who punches you, and that is the intuitive reaction. But in the world of warships, you're going to take a torpedo, you might as well take it as little as possible. Mitigate the numbers of torpedo, and the best way to do it is turn towards the wave. At the same time, when the planes are coming towards you, continue to turn towards them to make it more difficult for the Ranger to get on your broadside or any carrier. So now I'm facing the Prince Eugen. Yeah, I am at my last heal, and now I'm going to try to take out the Prince Eugen. So this is a moment where it demonstrates the flaws with the 283mm guns. And if you're looking for a performance, I can't really recommend the Scharnhorst as hard as I can, but the Scharnhorst does drop big time when it comes to high tier matchmaking with people at a distance, and people who are smart with the cruisers can beat you even though you're in a big battleship, because these AP shells are just not going to ricochet. At the same time, you don't have the DPS to make worth of the HE with the accuracy, because the accuracy on the Scharnhorst, weirdly enough, the Scharnhorst has a 2.0 sigma value, and I don't know what it is, but I still feel like the Scharnhorst is inaccurate. And at one point I had concealment built with the accuracy module, and sooner or later I just felt like if I took off the accuracy module, it feels the same, because all you're doing is just taking shots after shots in hopes of hitting something, right? That's how the Scharnhorst plays. You just continue to shoot constantly in hopes of something to hit, because although you don't have the accuracy or the power of a 406, you just banking on the fact that something will randomly happen if the ship goes broadside. Which is why the Scharnhorst does really well at close distance, because at close distance your accuracy increases, of course. So I manually selected the dive bomber at the same time, but the replay doesn't show that for some reason. I don't know why the replay is like this. In order to help my sims, I definitely use the manual. I think the manual gives like a 10% buff to your AA and focuses on one target. Now, if you get the manual AA skill, which is very good on the German battleships because of their secondaries or their large caliber AA are fairly good. Very good. Nothing compared to the Americans, I believe, but definitely good on the German battleships for sure. So I'm still firing on the Prince Eugen. Prince Eugen shows broadside, and I'm hoping for the dispersion to land some sort of citadel, but at a slight angle like that, I don't understand, but over penetration and ricochet. Which one? Come on now. Which one is it going to be? It can't be in between to get a penetration, right? I only got one penetration, so some of the flaws are apparent with the Scharnhorst. So now the smoke is fading and the sim sees me again with her smoke. And I decide that, you know what, let's charge in and start to close the distance on the Prince Eugen. And all of a sudden I see this torpedo bomber. Now, I thought I was done for, but it looks like the friendly North Carolina on the other side of the map is causing some problems to those torpedo bombers. So now the torpedo bomber is going to be committed to another battleship rather than me. And I'm guessing that the Ranger is going to assume that the Prince Eugen got me locked down. I use my damage control right away because I'm going to need every inch of my ship to be usable. I don't want to be below the water to fight the Prince Eugen, so I want my ship to be afloat. So one fire, it doesn't matter, I'm going to use it. Prince Eugen is going to continue firing HE against me. I'm going to fire at the Prince Eugen. This Prince Eugen is actually a very well-skilled player because he actually knows what to do. At this angle, in most cases with a battleship, 406mm will penetrate the Prince Eugen's bow. But with the Scharnhorst, that's not going to happen, and this Prince Eugen just continues to hold this angle until I fire my guns. And I'm holding my fire because I'm hoping for the Prince Eugen to show that one more broadside to get her 2 rear turrets at me. It's a very close battle. My secondaries are going off. I have the assistance of the sims, and I fired because I was panicking in hopes of trying to get some over penetration, but ricochets has just happened. Prince Eugen overshot my superstructure and misses, and also misses with the torpedoes, getting my third turret around, and boom, Prince Eugen is down. That was one close of a game. Like I said, this is like on my world because everyone was fighting on the other side of the map while this was going on with me. And yeah, I definitely owe it to The Sims for saving me twice. But unfortunately, I'm trying to make my ship perpendicular to the dive bombers to reduce the chance of being hit, and the Ranger has finally dropped her bombs, her SBD, and took me out. Overall, it was a fun game, and I can't really complain because a lot of people get angry about something good happened and someone screws them over, right? But it was a solid game. Definitely give some props to the Prince Eugen, The Sims, and the overall idea of, you know, saving the carrier and then someone saving me. It really brightened my day. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time on World of Warships.